Will she or won't she? Hi, my name is Suri Crowe and you're watching the MeidasTouch Network. Will the world's most famous childless cat lady endorse Kamala Harris? She endorsed President Biden back in 2020, but fresh off of her rigorous European Eras tour, Taylor Swift is laying low at the moment, God bless her, but her fans aren't. After Donald Trump posted AI fakes to his social media of so-called Swifties for Trump, and an AI image of Taylor dressed up as Uncle Sam with the caption, "Taylor wants you to vote for Donald Trump," where he then wrote, "I accept." Swifties jumped into action. They recently organized and held their first Zoom call, Swifties for Kamala. The goal? To activate and organize fellow Swifties across the nation to get people registered to vote blue up and down the ballot, and to help elect Democrats and Vice President Kamala Harris as the first female president of the United States of America. I sat in on the inaugural call. Annie Wu Henry, who is one of the organizers, says, "Do not underestimate the power of Taylor Nation."
Maybe, the media doesn't always get right is that Swifties are just about, making little posts and little bracelets. And we do those things for sure. But I think you can see with the intentionality of this call that we really have had a lot of thought in making sure everyone is included. We are providing opportunities and we are really giving the resources for people to be involved.
Oh yes, I'm super excited how to learn how to make a friendship bracelet. Hey, look what it did for Travis Kelce. Anyway, I was super impressed with all of the guests, and there were several, Kirsten Gillibrand, I can't even name them all, but they all had incredible Swiftie knowledge. Pretty much every guest spoke in Taylor Swift lyrics, including the incredible Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Listen in.
To be blunt, it is going to be a tough fight ahead. We have a lot to do, and dang, there are only 24 hours in a day, or 144 all too well 10-minute versions. But here's the thing, just like you've done every time before, we will push this boulder up the hill and we will win in November. So with that, I am looking forward to the era of the first woman president. So please get in the fight. Knock on doors, make phone calls, and let's elect Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States. Swifties, you can get this done.
Although the group is not officially affiliated with Taylor herself, we did get treated to music legend Carole King, who is friends with Taylor, and she sang her favorite Swiftie song.
Afraid there is too much at stake. And I just want to end because Taylor inducted me into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she sang my song, "Will You Love Me Tomorrow?" So I have to go. Players gonna play, 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 play. Haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off.
But will the activation of Swiftie Nation really make a difference in this election? Well, it could for younger voters. Many of Swift's fan base are likely to be first-time voters this year. So if Taylor Swift were to come out and make an official endorsement, it could move the needle with those first-time voters. But would it move the needle for their mothers, especially white women? According to this article in Politics and Power, when it comes to the nation's largest voting demographic, which is white women, will they elect the first woman president in Harris? Well, history says it's unlikely, unfortunately. Only twice since 1950 have a majority of white women voted for a Democratic presidential candidate, Lyndon Johnson and Bill Clinton. They did not support Barack Obama in his 2 historic terms as the nation's first Black president, and they didn't help elect Hillary Rodham Clinton as the nation's first woman president. Nope, did not support Hillary. Instead, they supported Trump over the former Secretary of State, 47% to 45%, according to Pew Research. And 4 years later, this is my add-in, 4 hellish years later, Trump's share of white women voters actually increased to 53% in his unsuccessful re-election bid against President Biden. White women, Can we please get our together? Can we please stop voting against our own self-interest? I don't get it personally. I've always been progressive. I look at my white sisters and I'm like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Anyway, but here's where things get interesting. While reliable Democrat voter blocks of Black and brown voters, especially Black women, remain solidly in Harris's camp, and I mean the Democrat camp. And I just want to take a second to give a shout out to my Black sisters, queens. They have saved democracy again and again. And I pray that white women will finally link up and stop voting against them and against ourselves. But gosh, just huge love to my Black sisters. You guys are amazing. I bow. But there has been some movement, according to the Langer Research .com, about they looked at some various polls since the recent conventions that took place. And I also want to give a shout out to my friend Shannon Watts, because I stole this screenshot off of her Instagram stories because it was much easier to read than the actual polls. And I do have the polls and I do look at them, but this is way easier for you guys to read. So here's what Langer Research found, that since the recent RNC and DNC conventions, white women went from 13 plus points in the Trump camp pre-conventions to a virtual dead heat with Trump at +2. So that's considered like basically even. White men, on the other hand, went from +13 points for Trump before the conventions to now 21 points pro-Trump. So the bottom line, my friends, is that white women are moving more towards the middle, possibly more towards the pro-democracy side, which is just, maybe we're finally making some inroads with white women. But white men, unfortunately, seem to be ever more entrenched in the misogyny and hatred of the MAGA Donald Trump platform, because they were already way in with Donald Trump and MAGA before, and now they're 21 points. So that's where we are. As I mentioned, Swift did famously endorse President Biden in 2020 with that lovely cookie tray she had. And a lot of us were swept up in the fevered rumor mill that Taylor or Beyonce or both were going to show up at the DNC in Chicago. They didn't. And this hilarious meme of Michelle Obama went round with Swifties for Kamala. It's a picture of Michelle Obama while she was giving her incredible DNC speech. And it says, "So y'all clown too close to the sun," because people got a little out of hand with the rumor mill. I got caught up in it. I will admit, I just did not think Taylor Swift was going to show up because she'd just been on this epic European tour, but I thought maybe Beyonce would, maybe. But anyway, in all seriousness, Taylor is well known for her very independent business and boss lady moves, and that's why we love her. She's very intentional in every move that she makes. And that is why experts say if she does come out with an endorsement, it will carry a lot of clout, because she doesn't just come out and make statements politically willy-nilly. So if she does do something, it's going to hold a lot of weight with her fan base. She is a true feminist, and the Trump camp, speaking of clowning, is seriously clowning if they ever think that she will endorse Trump, who weirdly in an interview one time was talking about how beautiful Taylor Swift is. Like, so he's so creepy. Anyway, here's from the statement, quote, "As Kamala Harris continues to lie about her values and policies, voters will realize they knew she was trouble when she walked in." A spokesperson for Trump, Stephen Chung, who has no credibility, said in a statement that lifted lyrics from Swift's songs, "I Knew You Were Trouble" and "Bad Blood." Quote, "Americans have bad blood with Kamala Harris's radical agenda, and that is why Swifties for Trump is a movement that grows bigger every single day." Okay, I honest to God can't read that statement with a straight face because it's so effing absurd. Like, it's ridiculous. I have not found any evidence of a growing movement of Swifties for Trump. As in everything from the Trump campaign, it is a lie. And if you know anything about Taylor Swift, everything that Taylor Swift stands for, if in her music and her life and her entire being, is completely against everything that Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans stand for. So she's never, ever, she was never getting back together. She was never with the Trump campaign in the first place. But that's just like, I would bet everything I have in everything that she'll never, ever endorse Trump. Keep dreaming, Stephen Chung. I do think that she will make some kind of statement for the Harris campaign, maybe not a verbal one, but something like the cookie tray she did for Biden for Vice President Harris. And Swifties know Tay loves her Easter eggs. She did put this picture up deep on her Instagram feed where she posted a photo, and it really does look like a silhouette of Vice President Harris. So that does seem like some kind of Easter egg to me. But with so much writing on this election, I do hope she puts out a more obvious endorsement, because I mean, there's just so much at stake here. I mean, honest to God, I can't believe we're still dealing with Trump and all of this nonsense. But, you know, hey, if anyone understands the misogynistic double standards thrown at successful independent women, it's Taylor Swift. Take a listen to her here in this clip from an interview she gave a couple years ago, talking about how incredibly difficult it is for women who rise to the top of wherever they are, and that they're not taken seriously, and how men and others don't give them credit and their flowers for achieving their successes on their own, that it's always like a joke. And that's exactly what's happening to Kamala Harris right now. And I just think it's quite a profound commentary. So listen in.
You know, when I was like 23 and people were just like kind of reducing me to like kind of making slideshows of like my dating life and putting people in there that I'd sat next to at a party once, and deciding that my songwriting was like a trick rather than a skill and a craft. Kind of, it's a way to take a woman who's doing her job and succeeding at doing her job and making things. And it's in a way, it's figuring out how to completely minimize that skill by taking something that everyone, you know, in their darkest moments loves to do, which is to slut shame.
Yeah, that really says it all. The hatred that the MAGA right-wing Christo-fascists have for women is truly chilling. I mean, I see it on my own social media all day long, and it always makes me sick to my stomach when I see comments that people make like, we're humans, and no matter how rich and famous and successful you are, if you're Taylor Swift or Hillary Clinton, those are people. Like, it feels like a gut punch to me every time I see something vile and hateful. And the continued attacks at JD Vance and Donald Trump and Fox and Jesse Waters and anyone who's joining them in their games of misogyny. It takes a toll, and we really have to stand up to it. We need to call it out. You know, and Kamala Harris is an incredibly successful woman, and she's gone through all sorts of barriers, not only as a woman, I can tell you that, as a woman, but as a woman of color. So she's had to go through stuff and then more stuff to get where she is, and she absolutely damn well deserves to be in the position she's in. Joe Biden is a very smart, strategic man. He's brilliant. I mean, don't even get me started on my Joe Biden role. He didn't pick her for any old reason. He chose her because he knew her worth and her value to his campaign, and he would never have endorsed her to pick up all of the hard work that he has put into his administration if he didn't think that she was damn well qualified to carry on his legacy. I'll tell you that much. So, yeah, it's just gross to see the hatred coming toward her. And just to put a point on it, one of my many, many favorite Swiftie songs, I have many, is Karma. And I just believe that it is such an appropriate song for this moment in time of where we are. I can't play it for you guys, unfortunately, because of copyright issues. So I'll kind of say it or sing it. Okay, Karma. This is just a couple bars. Karma is the thunder rattling your ground. Karma's on your scent like a bounty hunter. Donald Trump. Karma's gonna track you down. Yeah! Step by step from town to town. Woo! Sweet like justice. Karma is a queen. Kamala. See what I mean? I added that last bar, but really, isn't that just so perfect? That after all of the years of his horrible, evil, vile, criminal acts, that karma is coming for Donald Trump and every enabler around him who has allowed him to destroy everything that we hold near and dear about America. And karma is a queen. And I just say, let this be the year that we crown Queen Kamala as our first president, our first female president. And the fact that she's the one to prosecute the case against Donald Trump, I say bring it. And Taylor, if you're out there somewhere and magically you hear this message, I really do hope you come out and make an endorsement, because if you can get all those little girls and their moms who look up to you and go to all your concerts all around the world and motivate them to get to the polls, because we need people to vote, then I hope you do that. All right. My name is Suri Crowe for the MeidasTouch Network. I am a Swiftie. Thank you for joining me here today. Please spread this message and the love far and wide. Peace.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.